Hello everyone, welcome back to this weekly devlog. It seems like I'm always in a hurry in these, so I was thinking about making them bi-weekly or every other week, but then it wouldn't make me any less work because I'm in a hurry every week, so there's that, and that's why we're keeping the schedule weekly as it was before. If you watched the last devlog, you'll know that I spent this week in Hamburg, aka away from my parents' home for a week, because I wanted to attend a special games industry event, but that turned out great because on the day of the event, which was Friday, and I was in Hamburg from Tuesday on, a mind-shattering migraine hit me, so yeah, you might be able to tell where this is going, so that went great. But anyways, I still finished as much work as I could. I met up with my professor to talk about the game progress. And because, if you might not know, this project is part of an compensation for university, because I wasn't able to find an internship. Oh yeah, I also met a co-student from my semester by pure chance, and apparently he follows me either on social media or watches my videos, so if you're watching today, hi, how are you? It was nice talking to you for a bit. Okay, so last week I promised that I'll be showing you my prototype, and yes, I'm actually gonna do that, but before that, let's get through the statistics of this week. This week I finished writing chapter 1, had to start anew with my Ren'Py prototype because it refused to find my project folder. I made new character placeholders with an online tool. I implemented everything into Ren'Py again. I met up with my professor to talk about the game's progress, and I finished implementing the prologue into the prototype. In total, all of this took me 3.5 hours of project and file management, 8 hours of writing, 1 hour on game art, no hours on game design, no hours on coding, 7 hours of implementing, no hours on social media management, and 15.5 hours of miscellaneous stuff. I think that in the coming weeks, by which I mean the next 2 weeks, this kind of time distribution will stay the same, in which I won't spend many hours on project management, game art or game design, because that's mostly done by now. Which doesn't mean that I won't do that at all, because the Twine prototype needs some fixing at the moment. But I think it might be interesting to see for non-developers how task distribution changes throughout the cycle of game development. For example, in my first week of working on this project, I spent 6 hours on project management, and that has been cut in half by now. Similarly, when I'm going to be entering the alpha stage of this project, I will spend more time on game art again and less on game writing, at least I hope so. As you might have noticed me saying this just now, I said the next 2 weeks of prototyping, and after my talk with my professor, I decided to add another week to this phase, as I mentioned in the last video. The reason for that is that I need to get the, in quotes, bones or the basic structure of the game done, so I can spend the following weeks on working on more important things, and will be able to send this game out to testers ASAP, and I won't be able to do this in 1 week, so I decided to add another one to this phase. This leads me to an issue that I brought up with my professor during my talk. I don't want to sound like I'm complaining, because it's just a remark and observation I made, but it still sounds like complaining. So, again, it's kind of like I noticed in the past 2 weeks that working alone on a game is a chore. Again, I don't want to sound like I'm complaining, because I'm not trying to complain. It's just something that I noticed for myself very quickly. The problem is that I need things to happen simultaneously to work efficiently on this project. By that I mean that the story and the structure need to be made while I am implementing what I have, which is chapter 1, while chapter 2 is being written, and I also need someone to make the assets so I can implement them too. I think you know what I mean. It all needs to happen at the same time, and because I'm alone, that just doesn't work. And I will try my best to work out a schedule so I can imitate that, to say it like that, without losing too much time, I hope. What I'm trying to tell is that games are best made in teams, I think, which is the most common way of developing games anyway, also for indie teams. So let's finally get to the good stuff, which is the prototype. During this stage, as I mentioned before, it's important to get the bare bones structure of the game working. This means that there are no fancy graphics. Most of the dialogue will be placeholders, like most things will be placeholders actually, and the text will not be proofread yet, as in my case. And this also means that I have no backgrounds yet. I use generic anime style placeholders for the characters. I have no background music or sound effects. I decided to add some in the post-production, so it's not as boring to watch this as it would be if you just saw the prototype as it is. So yeah, enjoy! Okay, yeah, I think that's it for today's video. The plans for the next 2 weeks is to finish up the entire story in terms of implementing it into the game, and like finish writing it as closely as possible, but I'm not sure how that's gonna work out because, yeah, writing takes a lot of time. Who would have thought? Yeah, and then we will see what happens once I get into the alpha stage. Yes, thank you so much for watching, and if you want to stay up to date with my shenanigans, you can follow me on social media. All links are listed down in the description below. Otherwise, I'd be happy to see you next week. Bye!